Good morning, everyone. It's about 5:30 a.m. that is, and the temperature is about 68 degrees. The barometer reading was about 30.12. Full sun, sunny day. Right now, as you can see, the lake is flat like a mirror. It's supposed to be about 8 miles an hour later today from the northwest. I like a little more wind. I like a little bit of wind at least whenever I'm fishing, especially for crappie, because it gives it more action, and I don't have to twitch that rod quite as much. So here we are getting out here, getting ready to fish down the railroad track. This is behind me. You see here is a railroad, and right off of it is a lot of brush, and really makes for good crappie. And I've caught a lot of bass while I'm crappie fishing. Using a spinner or even a jig. Use a beetle spin a lot when I'm fishing, and that's what I probably use 50-60% of the time. And I've caught a lot of bass, I've caught catfish and everything else coming down this railroad, fishing off these trees, and there's brush underwater where the railroad came down and cleared out the trees at one time, but as you see, they're growing back up pretty good. So we're looking for a good day. Hopefully we will have. The other day, yesterday, a couple of days ago, I guess it was, we had a beautiful day. Caught more fish than I've ever caught in my life. In one morning, I caught 60 crappie, and they were all 11 to 13, over 13 inches, and which I let go back. But that's what I keep them, just to see how many I got. I'm gonna have to get me a counter. That way I don't have to keep them or worry about it. But we got 60 the other day, and the camera wasn't working, or the cameraman wasn't functioning. So here we are today. Don't think we'll have quite as good a day, but it should be a pretty good day. Of course, as I always say, a bad day of fishing's better than any good day at work. And so you keep in mind that a beetle spin works real well for crappie. Most people don't realize how well that can work, and it even works with a cork, as you'll see and as I talk about during this time. And you'll see me using from time to time, sometimes even only setting it as little as 6 inches deep. But that beetle spin still works real well. So we're looking forward. Here we go. Now this is a setup that I use a lot of times. It's like a little spinner. It's a lead head jig with a little spinner. It's got a little twist tail on it. And I'm telling you, the crappie, these little crappie niblets make all the difference in the world. I've had times when I've been fishing and not catching anything, put a crappie niblet on it, and all of a sudden these guys go nuts. And I've had times when I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to use one. You'll just see, cast 4 or 5 times, nothing. Put a crappie niblet on, throw out there where I've been catching them before, and they hit again. So don't think that that's a waste of money, or it don't matter, because sometimes it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, let's try this. There we go, hook up. Right off the bat, a hookup. There you go. This is the crappie. Kind of crappie that I catch all the time. Caught 60 of these babies the other day. And let's get a measurement on this one. This one's 12 inches. 12 inches long. Okay, I just had another one hit, but a little rascal stole my crappie niblet. So now I got to put another crappie niblet on there. When they hit that, they'll knock that crappie niblet off every time. Of course, he'll come back. He figures he got him a free little hors d'oeuvre, so he'll come back, and we'll get him. We'll get him. I let that slowly sink for about 3 seconds, and then I start bringing it in. I just had a bump. See, he stole my crappie niblet again. Thinks he got by with something, little thief, but we'll get him. I'm an equal opportunity fisherman, so I want to give him every chance. Again, it's a beautiful morning, and I'm hoping to catch them. Hoping they'll be biting. I know they won't be biting like they was the other day. I've never had a day like that. Don't expect it to be 2 in a row. Oh, doggone it. Sleep at the wheel. I can't talk and fish at the same time, I guess. So, with that in mind, and I'm having trouble with my camera here, not wanting to stay focused also, or stay in where I've lined it up. So, I'm going to put another crappie nibble on. I'm going to give this little feller. And it's amazing. Sometimes you can throw that thing out there without that crappie nibble at the very same plug, the very same rate, and everything. And they don't want it. But you throw that crappie nibble out there, and they're on it right away. So let's do this again. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Oh, right there. That's what happens. That's what happens right there. I didn't even start reeling. I always let it sink about 3 seconds before I start reeling in. And I didn't even get a chance to start reeling. I just threw it out there and was letting it sink. Oh, this is a little dink catfish. A little dink catfish. Ain't that something? And on these plugs, this is like I said, it's like a beetle spin that I'm using now. Let go. Let go. On these plugs, look at that. Ain't that a dandy? Pretty. About a 6-inch channel cat. 8-inch maybe. You got to watch these little fellers too, because they're the ones that'll get you good. That little barb is sharp. It's kind of like a puppy, how sharp their teeth is when they're little. The bigger they get, the more they're used, the more dull they get. Well, the same way with these catfish. These little ones, boy, will get you in a hurry. But I've caught some big catfish on these things while crappie fishing, and I've also caught some big bass. So just hang on, we'll see what we get. Okay, we're going to do this again, and we'll see what happens here. Throw it out there. 1, 2, 3, and we bring her in. I don't reel her too fast, and I keep twitching the rod the whole time I'm reeling. I keep twitching the rod. There, we've hooked up with another one. I think that's about my 4th cast this morning. We've hooked up with another one. Not as big, not quite as big, but you know what? He is big enough. He qualifies for membership to the supper club. And so we put him out here and we measure him, and believe me, it's about 11 3/4 inches. So I mean, he's a nice little fat boy, kind of like me. And we'll just put him in the little hopper there and see how he makes out. Now, you know, this looks like it might be a pretty good day, because I've cast out so far. I've cast out about 5 times, and I've caught 3 fish, 2 crappie and 1 catfish, and I'm having a dog of a time with my little bitty camera here. But you know, the thing of it is, just keep that little beetle spin moving. Let her sink about 3 seconds. Well, depending on how deep you're fishing. I know these crappie sets here are not real deep. And so I just let that sink for about 3 seconds. If I let it sink for any more, then I end up hung up. So we'll throw that out there again. 1, 2, and 3, and we bring her in. And
And I twitch the end of my rod as I'm doing this. I twitch the end of my rod. There we go again. There we go again. What I like about this lake, this is where I live. And this lake has big crappie, nice bass in it, catfish. It's got everything. There's another one. And let's see, I think he probably qualify for the supper club. He's about 11 and a half. They're getting a little shorter every cast. He's about 11 and a half, but that qualifies for membership to most supper clubs that I know of. So we'll just put him right there, and we'll see. Now we take our little bait, our little beetle spin, and we put another crappie niblet on it. I don't want to cheat these guys out of a good little hors d'oeuvre. You know, that's what that is. That's just a little hors d'oeuvre for them. But they sure like it. So now let's do it again and see what happens. And I picked my same spot on the bank, 3. And so that I'm taking it right over the same crappie set, and I'm twitching that thing just right. Oh, I made a cast and didn't get a hit. Never even got a swipe at it. Okay. Well, let's do it again. Throw it over a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I just missed one. I know the little thief got my crappie niblet though, I'm sure of that. Yeah, he got his hors d'oeuvre. I'll be back with you in a moment. We'll get baited up and see what happens. Here we go, we're hooked up again. Threw it out there, same spot. And we are hooked up again. This is a little fighter, and I can see right now he will qualify for membership to the supper club. There you go. There's what he looks like. And he is, he's 13 inches long. So he's good. He definitely qualifies for a supper club. In fact, he might be one of the board members or something before it's over. Okay, we're hooked up again. Just threw out there and reeled one in. I've been here about 20 minutes, and it's a little slow today, but not too bad. I've been here about 20 minutes, and this is my, I think my 6th crappie. And then I caught that little dink catfish, channel cat. And here's the crappie here that I just caught, and it is 12 inches, believe it or not. Huh. I didn't even think that one looked like he's 12 inches, but he is. I caught so many the other day. I got these yellow rope type stringers, and I had 2 stringers so full, literally, I couldn't pick them up. I was wanting to weigh them, and I couldn't pick them up. I had over 60 crappie on it. And like I said before, though, I let them all go back except 14 that wasn't going to make it, and I kept them. Now, a big thing on this is when you're fishing a crappie set somewhere, what you do is, just like now, I'm aiming towards a certain tree over there, and I've caught several crappie just reeling it in from where I'm aiming at a tree across the lake. And thing of it is, if I pull up to a spot, I always mark where I'm going to aim to throw my plug. Like at a point I'm looking at now, I could aim at that point, throw it a time or two. If I don't have anything, then look over. Okay, if I look 10 foot over the right, over there on the bank, I'm hung up. Over there on the bank, I see a telephone pole going down the road, on the edge of the road. So I aim towards that telephone pole, which is about 10 foot over from where I aimed the last time. Then when I hit, and I always mark every cast in my mind, okay, this is where I'm casting. I'm aiming to that telephone pole across the lake there. I cast out. I'm also keeping in mind when it's on its way back, about approximately where that fish hit, or I caught that fish. So that the next cast, I'm going to cast to the same spot, and I'm going to bring it back the same way, and I'm going to be ready about that same place. If I've hit a couple of fish there, I know there's a crappie set, and so I'll aim a couple of feet to either side of that pole and bring it in, and that's how I search for crappie sets or underwater structure. I watch where I'm casting and pick my point to cast every time, and then I'll make sure I make a mental note on the way back in about where the fish are hitting, so that way I'll always be going by the same structure, the same set or whatever. And that really works to help you. Just every cast, just keep that in mind. You want to pinpoint, okay, I'm going to cast towards that point across the lake, or I'm going to cast towards that sign I see over there, or even a house or a dock. And whenever you start hitting, just always keep that mental note, and that really helps you in fishing and catching crappie, especially because that way you can stay on the set. Okay, here we are. We're hooked up again. Another nice one. Oh, quit it. You just got my glasses wet. Now, let's see. This guy here, he's only about 11 inches. He'll still qualify for most supper clubs. I'm going to put him on a stringer. And the only reason I'm putting him on a stringer is just to see how many I have at the end of the day. I'll let most all of them go, if not all of them, because I have fish in the freezer. And I don't know, I thought about keeping a few just to have some fresh fish for tonight. When Mama gets off work. See that? Mama is working and Daddy is playing. Mama is working because right now they won't let Daddy come into work because health issues and this COVID-19 and all that kind of stuff. So they won't let me come into work, not wanting me to. So I'm just going to suffer, I guess, and I'll just have to fish. And but being the good boy that I am, when Mama comes in, I have supper on the table, and so tonight, maybe, who knows, she might get some fresh fish. Let me get back to fishing. Okay, I just had to change fishing spots. I got hung up with 2 reels. I always carry a spare. I'm going to be fishing down this railroad bed. I fish all down that, and good crappie, good bass, and the sun's going to make it. I don't know if you can even see it now. The sun is so shining so bright, so I will keep you posted. Well, just got another one, and just got another one, and this one is 11 3/4 inches. So that's qualification to the supper club. And so he qualifies for membership to the supper club. However, most of these won't make it to the supper club because I'll let them go. But I might keep a few just so me and Mama can have some fresh crappie for supper tonight. I told her I might have crappie fixed when she comes home. So I may do that. I may keep a few just so we can have some good old crappie. And I have a recipe for crappie, or for fish, that one of these days I'm going to share. Everybody's been after me that has my fish, wanting to know what it is, and I won't tell them. They'll probably get mad when I tell it on YouTube, but that's just how it is. You guys are the ones I'll tell it to, and then they can go watch it if they want to. And but the recipe I got that I use, some of you, maybe mama don't like to fix fish, or don't like for you to fix fish because it stinks up the house. Well, I promise you, the recipe I got, there won't be no stinking up the house. The fish don't stink it up. You can fix it right there in the kitchen, and it will not stink up the house at all. And everybody likes that idea. So one of these days I'll share that with you, because we want to share what we know, but I just ain't ready to give that up yet. Hang on, we'll see what happens. We're going to try to catch some more. Okay, we just hooked up with another one. And we'll see what the length is on this one. It's a pretty good one. About right at 13 inches. Nice and fat. And again, he qualified for the supper club. He won't be president, but he might qualify for the board. Cleaning board, that is. Well, I sure wished I'd have had the camera going the other day when I caught 60 of them babies. Kept me busy, I'll tell you. We'll be back with you momentarily. Okay, I just caught another one. I've tried twice to turn the camera on so that you could see when I was catching one, and both times I lost the fish because I let slack get in the line messing with the camera. So it's like, okay, that's 11 inches right there. And 2 times I lost fish. You got to keep that line tight and keep it going. But twice I lost fish messing, trying to get the camera back on so you could see. And I decided, okay, that's it. We're not doing that no more. Want you to see what's going on, but I don't want to miss fish. So, put that one there. Also as a qualifier for the supper club. 11 inches. That qualifies. I had me a mess. I got hung up with my rods in a crappie set, and that other crappie set I was in. So I had to go get them loose and lost that. I always carry a spare rod with me. That way if I do get hung up, I can still just go right ahead and fish. But I ended up with both of them hung up. So I had to leave it. Got it undone. And then I get over here where I'm fishing now, and I got one of them flip bail reels, and I'm telling you what, I'm just about to decide. This is my reel. And by the way, this is just a cheap old, in fact I think it's a yard sale one. You don't have to buy the $200 equipment to fish and have fun. I'll do a series on that one day for hunting and fishing, but anyway, I ended up with a bird's nest. I'm getting to where I'm just about to decide I don't want to use this braided line, because every time you turn around, it's just really giving me a bird's nest. And maybe somebody's got some suggestions out there on that, but I love the braided line for the thin line that it is. You know, I usually use about a 10 or 12 pound test, and it's got about a 2 pound test or 3 pound test diameter. So, but it's sure getting aggravating because I'm getting bird's nest in this thing. And then I'm down to almost no line now, and I'm going to have to rethread it all when I get back home. So if you got any suggestions, leave a comment. Also hit the like and hit the subscribe button, and that helps. Be back with you in a moment. Okay, I just caught another nice little slab here. Hope you can see that. Sun's so bright I can't see nothing. We'll get a measurement on this bad boy. And looking at him, he's just over 12 inches. So again, he qualifies for the Supper Club membership. He gets free membership to the Supper Club. Got that off an old friend of mine I used to fish with all the time. Then he went and moved away from here on me, and that was always his thing. If he caught one that was big enough to eat, it always qualified for the Supper Club. Now, if you was my father-in-law, his concept and idea was if it's got eyes, it's big enough to eat. If it's got eyes, it'll qualify. But I don't quite do that. I usually don't take anything, at least from here, because we have some good crappie here. I don't take anything less than 11 inches. And I caught one earlier this spring, 3 pound 4 ounces. And I have caught one out of here 3 3/4 pound before. And a man I know, a friend of mine, caught one out of here 4 pound off one of the cypress trees off my backyard. I claimed it as mine, but it didn't work. But anyway, so we're going to go back to fishing, and we'll keep you posted. Okay, we've caught about 10 crappie, all of them smallest about 11 inches, up to the biggest just over 13. And we're going to move, or I'm going to move, I should say. I got a mouse in my pocket, I guess. I'm fishing alone today. And we're going to move to another area, and when we get there, I'll keep you posted. I've got, I think, about 10 so far, and they're all nice crappie. So we get over to where we're going, I'll get back with you. Okay, we've caught about 10 crappie, all of them smallest about 11 inches, up to the biggest just over 13. And we're going to move, or I'm going to move, I should say. I got a mouse in my pocket, I guess. I'm fishing alone today, and we're going to move to another area, and when we get there, I'll keep you posted. I've got, I think, about 10 so far, and they're all nice crappie. So we get over to where we're going, I'll get back with you. Okay, hope you can see with this sunlight, but I just caught another one. Wow, I just caught another one. This one's kind of weird. I caught it on a little bucktail jig. I just changed to a cork and a bucktail jig. But this one, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got this kind of a white growth on its side. Never saw that before. Nothing like that. It's on its fin. It's just on that little fin right there. I hope you can see that. Never saw anything like that before. I'm not going to keep this one. He is 11 3/4 inches long, but I'm going to let him go. I don't like what I see on him. I don't know what the deal is. I'll be back with you in a minute. I switched to a small bucktail jig because they were not biting on my spinner anymore. And that was a mistake. Because ever since I switched, there's your little bass, about 8 inches. And ever since I switched to that little bucktail, I ain't caught nothing but bluegill, small crappie, dinks like 8 inches, 9 inches. And So I'm about to go back to my spinner. Well, I'm hung up with one line. I had to pull up my spare line, so I'm using it right now. So I'm gonna go back to the spinner, but I'm fishing in some pretty thick stuff here, and I really like to use a jig in here, but well, it ain't causing me nothing but trouble. Be back with you. Back over fishing by the railroad again. My favorite spot, fishing right down the railroad, and caught another crappie. That's an 11-inch crappie, a little over 11 inches. So we'll add it to the supper club for today.
Okay, we've had a good day of fishing. Not quite as good as the other day. Had 14 total, and the smallest was 11 inches, and the largest was just over 13. That's about average for here, what I catch, as far as size-wise goes. The other day we tore them up. Everything, I guess, was perfect. It was right before a front come in. We was going to have a front coming in that night, and the barometer was falling, and it was like 29 point something, I don't remember, and it was dropping. And but we had that front coming in that night, and man, I'm telling you, I caught 60 crappie, over 60. I counted 60, but I caught over 60 crappie. I let them all go back except for 14 that wasn't going to survive, wasn't going to make it at all. So on those, I went ahead and cleaned those, and they were all nice 12, 13-inch crappie, most of them. But this lake has got crappie. This is where I live, what we're coming to now. That's my boathouse, my dock. I've got a dock that goes out a good ways on the water, and then I've got a deck built out on the end of it. I built it when I first bought this home. I've been there 16 years, and when I retired. And this dock, I built the boathouse, and since then I've built about 6 more. People had me build and wanted me to build boat houses and docks for them and all of that, so I've done that. But that's our home. It's a ranch style we're coming into right here. At the end of a decent day fishing. It wasn't no barn burner, but it was a halfway decent day of fishing. 14 good crappie, all of them well over 10 inches, 11 inches was the smallest, like I said. So this is where we live, and we love it. And this lake's loaded with crappie, bass, bluegill, and we've been here 16 years and just love living here. And this is a picture of the ones I caught the other day, 60 crappie. And I put them back